Finnian Johnson was a grand finalist in the 2023 Toyota Star Maker competition and in the 2023 NAB Talent Search at the Gympie Music Muster. He reached the top 12 in season 11 of television show The Voice, and he's also been touring the country. Last year, he released the singles July and Dishonest. This year, he has a single called I'm Doing Well. So we're probably going to talk about all of it. Hello, Finnian.
G'day, how's it going?
I'm going very well, thank you. And having seen you play live last year, and I didn't know much about you at the time, I just thought, who is this person with this amazing voice and presence? And I imagine you took that voice and that presence to the Tamworth Country Music Festival this year. So how was your Tamworth?
Great, like it is every year. We go up for the pretty much the whole 10 days every single year since I think 2017 was my first festival,
Right.
just after I did the junior academy. And I've been every year since, other than COVID. Um, but yeah, it was great.
I'm not at all surprised to learn that you are a graduate of the academy. Have you been to the senior academy as well?
I haven't. I've been wanting to do it. I don't know why I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I hope to at some point.
Well, possibly because there are other things to be doing, but junior academy obviously set you up very well.
Yeah, definitely. It was, I think me and my dad went up there. It doesn't go for as long as the senior one, and it's obviously very different, but more the reason for me to go and do the senior one at some point.
Yeah. It's like I think academy's a bit like boot camp. And from what I understand, there's slightly different boot camps. Like in junior academy, you are learning some different things to senior academy, and it's intensive songwriting and performance. So who were your songwriting mentors while you were there?
I wrote a song with, well, my group mentor was Simon Johnson,
Mhm.
who's an amazing instrumentalist. And I think I wrote a song with David Carter from Carter and Carter. Um, and I actually, yeah, and I think that was the first time I met like Lynn Botel and Ash Dallas and um, Elise Simmons, all these just amazing, you know, country artists that before the academy I didn't really know anyone apart from Trey Casadale and Adam Harvey and but going there I met all these other artists, kids
Mhm.
the same interests as me. It was amazing.
So what brought you to junior academy at that time? Because you were saying, you of Troy and Adam, but it sounds like country music may not have been your preferred genre at that point.
It definitely was. I
Mm.
just I seem to not know any Australian artists. There was
Oh.
Alan Jackson, Brooks and Dunn, Travis Tritt, but I did. Trey Casadale is my all-time favorite, and yeah, we had some Lee Kernaghan, Keith Urban, all that kind of stuff growing up as well. So always country, but
Mhm.
I was kind of, you know, didn't really know anything about Australian country music. It was just everything American, pretty much.
And I think, yeah, that's what's on radio. And look, Troy is an excellent artist to have as your favorite because he has everything going for him, really singing, songwriting, perform, guitarist. He's an amazing guitarist as well. So when you were growing up and listening to Troy's music, were you thinking you'd like to do all those things, play guitar the way he does, sing and write songs?
Yeah, definitely. The first song I actually learned, well, it wasn't the first song I learned, sorry. The reason I learned guitar was so I could learn a song of his called Ladies in My Life. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. And I did learn it, of course. Um, but yeah, I think Troy's been a big inspiration for my music. And then I met him a few years ago for the first time, and I was just, for a young kid to meet your idol, people always say don't meet your heroes or whatever, but I did, and he was just as I expected him, just the man that he is in his songs, pretty much. And I was like, I want to be that, so I'm doing my best to do that.
Yeah, yeah. And when did you start writing your own songs?
I think around the time I did the academy, I
Mhm.
think and that was, I think I was 15 or 14, and it was obviously all, high school heartbreaks and all that kind of stuff. But I took a hiatus for a few years and didn't really write anything, but just got back into it the last 2 years or so, and um, just trying to get as many as I can up and build up that repertoire.
Yeah. Did you not write because you felt like you didn't have anything to write about, or was it more that it was just not the core thing you were interested in?
I was definitely interested in it. I've never lost interest in music. Um, but yeah, I was like, I don't want to keep writing about the same thing. I'm a kid. I don't have life experiences. I don't know what to write about yet. And then, but I'm 21 now. I've experienced so much in even the last 5 years, and it's been a rough few years with COVID and everything.
Mm.
So I've had plenty to write about.
Yeah. Well, and maybe you would write a song about being in Star Maker because, as I mentioned at the top, you were in Star Maker last year. How was that experience for you?
Amazing. It was something I wanted to do since I went to the festival for the first time. I think Karen Page won it that year. I watched her win it in the park, and then the next year I watched I think Rachel Fahim or whoever. I watched all the winners for the last 5 or so years, and then I finally turned 18, and I was like, I can do it now. I'm going to give it a crack, and I actually got to do it, and
Mhm.
then I also got the voice thing, and I had to pick,
Ah,
and I picked
okay.
the voice, and then the next year I was like, I can do it again, but because of COVID, couldn't
Oh,
do it. Or that was those 2 years swapped around. And I was like, oh, this is terrible. It's all I wanted to do. And then finally everything lined up and I got to do it and I made the top 10. And it was just amazing being up there on that stage. Lots of prep, with the band and, just all the social media stuff. It was
mhm.
crazy. But when I got up there, it was just amazing to be on the stage in front of all those people again.
Do you think being on The Voice prepared you well for Star Maker?
I think so. It definitely gave me better. I don't know. I think for Star Maker, they look at everything, not just the performance on the night. Your socials and your following, and fan base, and I think being on The Voice previously gave me a little bit of a fan base and boosted my socials and everything like that.
Mhm.
So I think that definitely, you know, helped. I didn't win, obviously, but I think it bettered my chance of just, not having anything.
Well, and I tend to think actually the grand finalist field every year is so rich in talent that yes, it would be lovely to win, obviously, but for punters, it's a really good indication of who to keep an eye on, who's not emerging necessarily because I know you have to be at a certain stage of your career to even get into Star Maker and get into the grand final. But yeah, just ones to watch who are coming through with interesting songs. But what you say about the socials is an interesting point too, because that is such an element now. So for you as an artist, starting to get that social media presence, is it something that you enjoy, or is it more like, yeah, I know I've got to do it?
Yeah, I have to do it, and I don't always do it. I'm pretty slack on it, but I do have to get better. I know it's something I'm working on, um, but it is, just something you have to learn, like everything else. But I'll get there.
Yeah, and it's a skill I think that it's assumed people just have, right? Like, oh, you just filming stuff. It's like, no, it's actually, yeah, it's a completely different skill set, I think, to being an artist. So it's good if The Voice helped you, but I'm getting the sense that you might like competition. So The Voice, the Star Maker, and Gympie Music Muster Talent Search. What is it about competitions that works for you?
Oh, you've always got a chance, so I figured if you throw your hat in the ring, you can go give it a crack. I tend to have a habit of always losing, but I mean, you've got to be in it to win it, and I guess at some point I hopefully slow down the competitions, but they're a great stepping stone for emerging artists, and um, just, you got to, like I said, you got to be in it. So
Yeah, well, you say you're always losing, but I do wish to reiterate that you were top 12 on The Voice. Now, I can only imagine how many people auditioned for that particular show and Star Maker as well. There'd be so many people applying. So it's just, yeah, obviously it feels like, yes, I've lost, but to my mind as a punter, it actually is like you've made it through a massive curation process, which is pretty cool.
yeah, it is.
So as I mentioned, you have this incredible singing voice, and it's a very powerful voice. It's very rich. It's the sort of voice, obviously, that you can only develop once you pass your voice breaking. But I'm wondering if you were singing as a child and starting to really get that sense of yourself as a singer from a young age.
My voice was very different when I was a kid. I didn't really sing. I mean, I used to hum and play SingStar and karaoke with my sister and stuff like that, but I never really sang until about when I was 9 or so. I think I auditioned for The Voice Kids for that 1 or 2 seasons it was on
Yeah.
in Australia, and I didn't make it to any point of success. I didn't make it to TV. But I mean, looking back, I sounded like a little girl, like most boys do at that age. And there's actually videos of me on YouTube of when I was 9 years old singing "Ladies in My Life" and some
Oh.
Rascal Flatts songs. And, it's funny to actually look back on it. I'm glad they're on there so I can laugh at it pretty much. But then by the time I was 12 or 13, my voice there was never a period where I lost it. It just
Mhm.
kind of changed over time, which was good. But yeah, I've always kind of had the deeper voice, which I
Mhm.
love. I'm big fans of Johnny Cash and Randy Travis, so to to have the deep voice and sing their kind of songs is great.
Well, then it sounds like your adolescence was a good time for you because you went, "Hey, I can work with this. I know what to do with this."
Definitely. And you know, I think I did my first gig when I was 13.
Mhm.
So at that point, I was confident, well, not confident. I was still, I was competent with the
Right.
guitar, and um, I got to play at one of the local pubs, a Railway Hotel, just after the footy on Friday nights for 1 hour. I was getting paid $100, and I was like, I'm earning so much money because that was a lot of money for a kid. I didn't have a job, and it was so much fun. I just play for an hour and had such great support from the locals, and I kept doing it there every Friday. Was busking as well on the weekdays, and then I eventually just kept building up and then getting more gigs, and now I'm doing 3 gigs a weekend and playing some festivals, and life's great.
Oh, fantastic. So, do you think that your voice did determine which sort of music you stuck with? Because you grew up listening to country. That you might have had a voice that actually didn't lend itself to country. Thankfully, yours does. But was there a point where you thought, I need to work out what suits my voice and which genre I can work with best?
Maybe subconsciously, but not not purposely. I
Right.
just love country music, and I'm a strong believer in just sing whatever you love. But I happen to love country music, and my voice happens to be suited for country, so it works out well.
Yeah, very much so. So the latest single is "I'm Doing Well," and it was written with Adam Eckersley and Brooke McClymont. Now, when I saw you play live last year, you were playing support for them. So I'm wondering if the song was written because you were on tour with them while you were on the road or after.
Before
Oh, I didn't consider that answer.
we wrote it about a year before. It was
Mm.
before The Voice aired and everything, but Adam and Brooke had. I'm not even sure if we'd locked in that I was going to do the tour with them at this point, but I'd opened for them previously over the years, and um, they invited me down to their property, and I took a few lines of a song I had, and we pretty much turned it into "I'm Doing Well," and um, we just fell in love with it, and I'm so glad I finally got to record it. It was actually one of the songs I played at the Star Maker Grand Final because I love it so much, and people came up to me after it and saying how much they loved it, and I should record it. And then I played it on the tour, and the same thing. And I was like, this song should be recorded, so I did it finally. But yeah, working with Adam and Brooke was great.
I think one of the interesting things about them as artists is that, Brooke's been in the McClymonds for years. She's a fantastic live performer. She seems like she's just this easy breezy, everything's great, like rocking it out there chick. But she's a really serious, great songwriter as well. She's written a lot of the McClymonds music. She has a fantastic ear for melody. And Adam, of course, is very accomplished too. So I'm wondering if in the writer's room with them, writer's room, metaphorically speaking, if they were serious or if they were like pretty upbeat like they are on stage.
Um, I mean, with this kind of song, I think it was more serious. We were kind of, trying to get a message out. But I mean, it wasn't a writer's room. We were just out on the table, out in the the veranda. Um, but it was very, it was an easy song to write. I think, um, I had a couple lines, so that kind of set the whole, you know, structure of it pretty much. And then Adam had so much to give to it from his experiences, and the same with Brooke. And we just, yeah, made it into the story it is.
Now you said that it's the most special song you've ever written. So I'm wondering if you can tell us what it's about and why it's so dear to your heart.
Well, for starters, I haven't written many songs, so but so far out of all of them, it is special. Um, it's we pretty much wrote it in hopes that it serves as a reminder for whatever gets you down in life. You can take a step back and acknowledge that you're doing all right despite these things. And me personally, had a me and my siblings had a bit of a rougher upbringing, I'd say, and we lost our mother back in 2018.
Mhm.
So we've had some obstacles, and then um, everything with COVID as well for everyone. Just very hard couple of years, and people have had to get back up on their feet. Um, so I think we tried to, write a little bit of a anthem, a little bit of an uplifting tune to remind people that just keep going, you're doing well.
Mhm. So you would have been quite young when you lost your mother.
Yeah, I was 16.
Yeah, that's and then grief takes as long as it takes, but I would imagine you were still in quite a grieving process when we had a global lockdown and a pandemic to deal with. So that is no wonder you stopped writing for a while. Let's put it that way.
Well, after that, the period I stopped running, I was in just about to go into year 12, so getting ready for my HSC and all that, and it kind of I moved out of home. I moved in with my sister, and it was a big kind of crazy, crazy few years, and getting past losing a family member, and then COVID hit as soon as I graduated. So we had
Wow.
that. I turned 18 during the first big lockdown, so couldn't go out and experience all the clubbing and stuff that my friends got to do the year before because I was the youngest in my year group by a year. So all
Right.
my friends had the opportunity to go and do that. But I mean, everything's worked out. We've all made it through COVID. So
Yeah. Had you been thinking at the time you graduated school that you would start working as a musician?
yeah, I wanted to do it as soon as I finished school. Um, my sister really wanted me to go to uni. She's very academic, and um, I was like, oh, I just don't know. I want to go give it a crack. I want to go see if I can make it, keep doing gigs, whatever. And that was my plan. And then
Mhm.
COVID started, and I was like, well, I've got no choice. So I enrolled for uni, and
Right.
I did my Bachelor of Music for 2 years, or nearly 2 years, and then the voice stuff started coming on, and I was like, I don't want to be spending this time studying when,
Mm.
it's a music degree. I loved it, but a lot of the stuff I was going and learning was, songwriting and production and music business, which is what I was learning by doing what I was
Mhm.
doing anyway. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'd rather be spending the time, gigging and writing songs than going to class and listening in
Mm.
lectures. And so I did stop that. But yeah, I'm just happy to be where I'm at with music. So I
Fantastic.
don't think, yeah,
Sorry, you were going to say, I don't think something.
yeah. The academic life isn't for me. Even though it was music, it was funner than school because it was just music, which I love. But
Mhm.
I'm not one for any kind of school at all.
Is your sister wagging her finger at you because you didn't finish the degree because she wanted you to be academic?
I think she's a little upset deep down, but I mean, she just wants the best for me, and she massive supporter of my music, and always has been, and always will be. So yeah, she's happy if I'm happy. So
Oh, that's fantastic. So, I mean, this song "I'm Doing Well," I would imagine, is a song that could help people through difficult times they're having. I'm wondering when you were going through a period of difficulty, if which songs in particular helped you? Because I imagine you would have turned to music for that, as a lot of us do.
yeah, I can't really put a finger on any song in particular, but I'm very emotional. I'm not afraid to cry, especially in movies and especially in songs. I can listen to some songs, and it's a really sad one. It's like there's some sad Rascal Flats ones, and um, if I can listen to them enough, and understand the lyrics, I can get quite emotional, and I think I can just, if I've got stuff pent up inside
Mhm.
me, you can kind of release it through music, and it might not even be, you won't have to think about kind of what's actually getting you down externally, but just releasing the emotions, which music helps with, I think is a big thing. So yeah, I don't think there was any artist or song in particular, but just music in general.
I would think the fact that the Troy Cassar-Daley song you liked the most growing up was "Ladies in My Life" does indicate that you are comfortable with emotion. That is not the Troy Cassar-Daley song a lot of blokes would pick, I think.
Yeah. No, I love that song. I used to sing it to mum every birthday or Mother's Day, one of them. Um, but just just along to the Troy song, like just singing along with his voice, and then I eventually learned it on guitar. So I played it on guitar for her, and yeah, I was really, she was loving that I was in music as well. So
Yeah. And I bet she loved you singing that song. What a lovely thing for a son to do. So coming up for you this year, I would imagine you're looking ahead to releasing some more singles, no doubt playing some shows. Do you have some festivals on the horizon?
I don't. So if any festival, organizers are listening, get me out there. I'm willing to travel. But yeah, I've just pretty much cruising along now, writing as many songs as I can, doing the 3 gigs a weekend at home, funding the releases. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely going to get a couple more singles out this year, and hopefully by the end of it, an EP or an album.
And where is home in case people want to come and see you play?
I'm in the beautiful town of Cessnock in the Hunter Valley.
Right. So you
Or
play
Newcastle.
around or
Yeah,
play in
yeah,
Newcastle?
anywhere in the Hunter Valley. Newcastle, Central Coast, the Lake Macquarie, everywhere.
There are pubs around there. So yeah, people, I'm sure people can find you. Do you,
I'm
well, we
everywhere.
were talking about socials earlier. Do you post your gigs on socials regularly?
No, but there is I've got a link in my bio to a calendar with all my booking agent has all my gigs on the website, so hopefully people can find that.
Fantastic. And as you do create new songs, having had the co-writing experience with Adam and Brooke, do you think you prefer writing songs on your own or doing co-writes?
Um, I think it takes a lot of concentration of focus for me to write a song by myself, and I have been getting better with it lately, but I love writing with people, especially people like Adam and Brooke. Um, it's just so easy, and you can pretty much just throw anything out and they'll be like, oh no, that's shit, or that's great, whatever. They'll be honest with you, and it's easier that way because then you don't end up with a bad song.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like for the songs you might be creating for a future release, some co-writes are in your horizon, or on your horizon, I should say.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you keep in touch with any of your junior academy classmates as co-writers, for
Uh,
example?
don't think I have written with any, but I still definitely keep in touch with a couple of them. I run into Rory Phillips every festival. Um, he was, I think, 9 when we did the academy, and he's grown so much since then. Um, but yeah, I definitely love to write with any of them. Yeah, I might do that. I'll reach out to them.
There you go. Well, Finian, it's working well so far with the co-writes because I'm doing well, such a great song. So it was lovely to speak with you. I look forward to whichever songs you are going to release in the future.
Thank you very much.